All right, guys, and it's time for, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Adam, take it away.
Well, it's easy. It's Adam. You pronounced it correctly. Good job. Oh, you mean the game? Oh, well, yeah. So for the last game of the con, thanks for coming, everybody. We're going to be playing a game called Tenra Bansho Zero, and because we have a limited amount of time, we will keep the intros real short. I think that I have played games with everybody here except Rachel. So. Hi.
It was destiny, though. We look great together.
With the color palette works nicely. We got a good blend. Caitlin's looking magenta too, so good work. So real quick before we get into stuff, I want to talk just a little bit about what Tenra Bansho is and how it's different from role-playing games you might be used to. So intros. Tenra, I mean, Jeff, do you want to introduce yourself? Because I think we have name tags. So, Jeff, tell us who you are. Who's Jeff?
Oh, I don't know who this Jeff guy is. My name's Jesse Cox. I'm a YouTube personality. You guys see my videos. I don't know. Maybe you have it. What's happening here?
Pretty good.
Jeff, rejoinder. It's just stunned silence.
There's no impression of me. It doesn't exist. Hi. Hey.
My wife's in the background, so what up? That's cool.
What is this?
That was good enough for me, Jesse.
I'll take it.
I don't know. You still just sound like Jesse, though.
My wife's in the background. Yep.
That's it. That's all I want to do. So
that was actually Jeff's original Twitter name. My wife's in the background at on Twitter.com. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, you can plan when it's not your turn. Plan your rejoinders for the end. You can get back at each other at the end of the session. So for right now, Tenra is Tenra's a Japanese role-playing game. It was translated into English. It does some stuff a little bit differently, and it incorporates an audience participation mode that normally the way it works is we all have these. There's a pool of points that we can give each other for good role playing, for doing interesting things, for being entertaining. And normally we would do this at the table for each other, but I'm gonna let chat do it instead. So they're called IKEY points. You can use them in play to get bonuses. You can use them for a bunch of stuff. I'll go through the list. But during the game, chat, this is your instruction. While we're playing, if one of the players does something that you think is particularly cool, they act in character in a way that you like, they act on their character's fates, which we'll tell you before we start, in a way that you like. The way you can signal to us that you want to give them points is, and I decided we're going to do this in a very formal way so that you don't just yell their names. You can use the oh my dog emote. So put oh my dog and the name of the person, and then oh my dog again, and throw that in chat. You can test it out now if you want to get ready. You can use either their character name or the player name.
Adam, what is the exact regex that one has to type? Because certainly there are some capitals in there.
If someone could just type it so I can copy paste that would be
exactly.
Great.
Yeah, just go ahead and do that. And so the idea is because Tenra is inspired by like kabuki, and kabuki theater is much more interactive. At a kabuki play, you are shouting encouragement to the actors on stage. You are yelling lines along with them. It's very audience participation. So you'll be able to do that, and I'll make note as the GM. I'll make note of this, and we'll give the players these points as they go. Yeah, see, you got it. Perfect.
And I like you guys are voting for me. Keep it up, okay?
Yeah.
Gonna win this thing.
Now you only have to do it once, and only the first time that it happens counts. So if you see a bunch of people, let's say Jesse gives an impassioned speech, or Wheat does a funny accent you like, go ahead and say your piece. But if you see a bunch of people doing that, then you can rest assured I got it. So
accents, you say, Adam?
Yeah. So The other way that this game is a bit different is beyond that. I'm gonna be like framing scenes like a play. So I'll say, this is where the scene is set. These are the characters that are in the scene. We'll play out the scene, but part of what you can do with those points you're going to get from the audience is either jump into a scene by spending the points, or invite another character into the scene by using them. So once you've accumulated some of these IKEA points, you can use them to jump in. Now, the points you can use them, you can save them up. If you save them between scenes, you can turn them into the other kind of currency the game has called Ki. And Ki are like a better version of IKEA. You can do lots more stuff with them. But as you use them, you accumulate karma. Karma is bad. If your character, you all have a starting amount of karma, depending on kind of how powerful you are. If your karma ever goes over 108, your character becomes an Asura, which is a mindless demon. And that's bad, but since we're playing a one-shot, if you feel like your karma is accumulating and you want to go for full-on demonic possession, that's a thing you can do. Nice. Yeah, so your karma will accumulate as you use your points. So everybody's been given a character. I've made some characters for the scenario, and to start the game, we do what are called zero acts. They're very short scenes introducing each character as they kind of enter the stage. This is the audience's way of getting to know the character, and for me to reveal to you and to the audience your fates, which are things your character is trying to accomplish during the game, and your destiny, which is a specific goal you have for the scenario. So because there's more players than usual, I decided to go for kind of a PvP situation. So you'll have destinies that are directly opposed to some of the other characters, and mostly we'll be creating scenes to see if by the end of our little play, if your character has achieved their destiny. So I think we might as well just start with the zero act, and I think I want to start with Jeff, your character,
Okay.
Mountain Lotus.
Yeah, start with the boring ones first. Let's get the boring ones out of the way.
So when our play of our Tenra Bansho play begins, the curtain rises on a scene of some pastoral beauty, right? We see we see rice fields with farmers out working in them. We see a long road leading to a huge and ancient castle, and outside the castle on the walls there are banners with the chrysanthemum sigil of House Nijo. And Nijo is the samurai clan that rules this land. The shogun is an old man, but is known to be harsh but fair with his subjects, and a strong leader in both times of war and of peace. And we see, sort of enter stage left, we see a monk, a traveling monk. And when we see this character, Jeff, you want to describe Mountain Lotus to us? Are you young? Are you old? Man, woman? You look like a traditional Buddhist monk, or are you a little more like roughshod? What do we see?
Pretty traditional Buddhist monk. Older, I would say, a grizzled kind of a sexy older man. I'm talking about 50 here. Okay, so. Because he's a wanderer, does a lot of walking, does a lot of outdoorsy kind of stuff. So he's like he's weathered by the winds and by the sun. So he's very much so outdoorsy. But
he has huge calves.
Well, of course, he's
all the walking.
That goes without saying. But he also keeps an immaculate appearance for the most part. Like he's not covered in filth and dirty. He looks like. Part of his beliefs in religion is very much so his body is his temple, and he's very, very clean.
Excellent. Okay.
White beard, white hair, and then oversized large spectacles that are made from like a really nice bamboo wood, and then obviously glass.
Cool. Okay. So before we interact with any other characters, the first thing that we do is we're going to roll a ki roll to give you some points to work with to begin with. So the way that rolls in this game work, and bear with me, they're a little weird. You roll a number of dice based on one of your attributes. In this case, you're going to roll a number of dice based on your character's empathy. And skills in this game are rated between 0 and 5. And as they go up, that's the number of pips on the dice that count as a success. So in this case, on your character sheet in the green section, where it says roll down in the bottom right corner, you can click the little D20 next to it. And it's going to ask you for a number of dice you're going to roll. So you're going to roll 6 because Mountain Lotus has a 6 in empathy.
Okay.
And you're going to roll, and the skill is going to be based on your highest fate, which in your case is 3. So make that roll to begin with. Okay. So you start the game. That's a great roll. You start the game with 5 successes. So on the top left corner of your character sheet, you have an area that says ki. Where it says current, change that to 5.
Okay.
And you can use ki to spend a point to gain extra dice when you make a roll. So 1 point for each die. You can boost a skill with 3 points of ki. You can gain additional successes after you roll. Basically, if you don't like your roll, you can spend this ki to get more. You can interrupt someone else's action by spending ki. So if someone says, I attack him with my sword, you can say, oh, I'm going to spend my ki to like leap in the way. You can spend a point to enter a scene, or you can shift what's called the emotion matrix. And this is the other really fun thing about Tenra, and we'll do this the first time you encounter an NPC. So you come to the gate of Nijo Castle. And I think that the gate is flanked by 2 huge, like 20-foot tall suits of armor. They're the Shogun's gate defenders. There are people inside this armor, but they're standing guard right now. And because you're a traveling monk, they don't pay you any heed. You're welcome to come into the castle. And I think that the first person that you see when you come into the castle grounds is the Shogun. He's an old man, and he's out in his garden. So he's wearing, long, fine robes. He's got like a kimono probably on. He's sitting on a rock outside of a finely manicured like stone garden, and standing, looking stern next to him is, who never leaves his side, his loyal bodyguard, Hatano. So Caitlin, will you describe the Shogun's bodyguard for us?
I will, but I totally didn't look this over. So I had plans to be the doctor. So can I just be a bodyguard that's practicing medicine?
I can switch you over to Fukada if you want, or we can move your medical skill around if you like.
I'll just be a bodyguard practicing medicine.
Okay, cool. So you're his. So normally the scenario would have there was another character, Dr. Fukada, but we can just smush them together because they're both kind of responsible for the Shogun's well-being.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're more like a guardian.
Yeah.
So what does your character look like?
Well, I'm also a bit older, approaching geriatric older, and I'm just sitting leaning against this rock beside him, and I have this all white robe on, tied at the waist, and I have a pipe in my hand, and I like reach down to grab something out of my waist, kind of away from his name again?
Who are you?
Mountain Lotus.
Joe? The guy I'm protecting?
Oh, Shogun.
Shogun.
Name's
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, so I grab something in my pocket and I put it in my pipe and I bring it to my lips and I start smoking on it. Just chilling like that.
So Hatano is a samurai, and samurai in this setting are both the sort of warrior elite, but also they've had a procedure performed on them where magical stones are embedded in you, and you can go through a transformation into sort of your battle form. So while you might be an old man now, in times of battle, you transform into a huge hulking brute monster. Are the stones that are embedded in you, are they like obvious? Like, can people tell that you're samurai, or have you hidden them like under your clothes?
I would say that they're like embedded in my skin, just so that they can be hidden better, you know, in case anyone can detect that. If they have ability to detect that, maybe it won't go past the skin or won't go too far in. So you can't see any lumps from the outside, but they're there, Adam.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's not something you wear, like, obviously. All right. So you notice this visitor to the castle approaching, Mountain Lotus, and I need both of you to roll on the emotion matrix. So when you meet another character, you don't get to decide necessarily what your character thinks of them. There's a moment where you lock eyes and your emotions come to the surface.
Oh, wow.
So if both of you can roll, just roll 2d6. I will let you know, and you can make a note of this for later.
We match perfectly, Adam.
Okay, so you both got a 10.
We trade BFF necklaces.
Now, because they're switched, one is a 4-6 and there's a 6-4. So Hatano, you feel unstable emotions when you look at Mountain Lotus.
I have that destabilizing effect on people.
Yeah. Okay. And we can talk about that. So these are ways that you can get IQ as we play, right? By exploring that, you have these like unstable uncertainty. Something about Mountain Lotus makes you feel uncertain, not bad necessarily, but you're definitely like put off. And Mountain Lotus, when you see the Shogun's bodyguard for the first time, you got a 6-4. You feel a thirst for their blood.
Wow.
So yeah, so something about the samurai, like despite the fact that you are a man of monastic peace, something about the Shogun's bodyguard makes you want to murder them.
Okay. So
how do you react when you have these feelings? Does it show, or are you like stone faced? Remember, this is primarily like we're focused on Mountain Lotus right now.
So you said there's a garden here, right? And
yeah, there's this beautiful, expansive like rock garden. There's probably like like some cranes, and a big koi pond. You know, it's obvious that Shogun Nijo has a lot of money.
Okay. So we were acting this out now, is that what you said?
Yeah. So we get a moment to see what that reaction is like.
The moment I see Hatano, there's this just strong, ferocious desire to destroy him. And I just I see this and I realize that, and there's a part of me that as a wandering Zen-like Buddhist monk, it really troubles me at the same time. Because all I want is to be free. And taking a life is actually against one of my, it's prohibited in my beliefs. But also so is honesty. So I kind of walk over to him and I stand uncomfortably close to him, and I take off my spectacles and I kind of wipe it and say, I'm greatly troubled at how much I want to drink your blood. And then I put the glasses back on and just kind of look at him.
I put my pipe down and I say, sir, I must have misheard you. And I look at my pipe and I take a bit out of my pipe and I throw it on the ground.
As he throws it on the ground, I very slowly kind of bend down, pick up what he has dropped and put it in my hand and say, I know not why, but my spirit calls to turn you into this ash from that of your pipe. I don't know why. It's against what I believe, but I want to drink your blood.
Sir, you are horribly, horribly ill. I'm sorry to let you know. Never have I heard someone speak so much nonsense to my face. I can treat you if you would like.
And as he says that, I blow it into the wind a little bit. And I'm like, and I don't look at him at this point. I kind of turn my back, which in our culture is a big sign of disrespect, of course. And I just kind of say, it is all of us that are sick. And it is in the body that we are sick, and it is only in our release of spirit that we are truly healthy and clean.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a great view into Mountain Lotus, and we've seen a little bit of your personality. So for the audience to know what to look for, Mountain Lotus, can you read your fates for me?
Our fates?
Yeah, your fates. They're on the right-hand side. In the
I see it.
Orange section. Yeah.
I'm looking right at it right now.
Okay.
He says buying time as he looks for it. Where does it say fate again?
It's top right.
Orange.
In the orange section.
Oh, it just says fates. Oh, so the stuff underneath that?
Yeah, stuff underneath. Yep.
What do you want me to read?
Your goal, your taboo, and your destiny.
My goal, Adam, which may have actually been spoken of in the character description, is to be truly free. My taboo is disobeying the precepts. Destiny is to see the shogun's will carried out.
Excellent. Cool. And so your religious precepts are against taking life, stealing, consuming alcohol, sexual
deviancy.
Yeah, sexual misconduct and speaking falsely. So you'll be struggling with those as we go.
That's exactly right.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So let's do a zero act to introduce our next character. Hitano. This is your scene. And I think that you are with the shogun. We see the shogun's like bedchamber, and the shogun has called for both his trusted bodyguard and for the court poet Iwata. And so the two of you are present at the shogun's bedside, and this is not a good sign, right? Like, the shogun hired this court poet some time ago because the shogun believed he's trying to get someone to help him write his death haiku, right? So he's like hired this poet, and he's in his bedchamber in his bed, and he's telling you that he is certain that his death is coming. So we fade in on the three of you, and to begin right away, maybe this is the first time you've seen the poet Iwata like face to face. We need to emotion matrix the two of you. But first, can you describe yourself for us, Poet Iwata?
Poet Iwata, I'm actually a pretty young guy, and I am basically fresh out of poet school, and I am taking poetry very seriously. Poetry is actually the only way to speak truth truly. And it's very important for me to capture the shogun's final words in a way that is not just true to his words, but true to their meaning.
Excellent. A dedicated young poet, loyal to the shogun's intent. Hitano, let's see how you feel about this poet deep down in your soul. Roll 2d6 for me.
Let the dice decide.
Okay, so 1, 2.
You thirst for his face.
Exactly. You want to eat his bones. It's weird. They're all like that.
Yeah, it's just all a
You
skill.
want to kill him too.
Yeah, horrible murder. So a 1, 2, a 12 is acquaintance. So this is a nice neutral one to begin with. You were acquainted with the poet, but feel no real strong, intense emotions about them. Not like that unsettling monk from before.
Destabilize it.
Iwata, can we get a 2d6 roll from you? Okay, 5, 2. So you, okay, so you feel that in some way, spiritually or literally, Hitano is your superior. They are to be treated as a master. They're not Hitano-san, they are Hitano-sama, right? They're a person of due respect.
A senpai, would you say, Adam?
Quite possibly, if you were both poets. But,
Is there any potential for him to notice me?
I don't know. Senpai, do you notice Poet Iwata?
I've
Make a perception roll. You have failed to be noticed by Senpai.
Isn't there literally the next skill? Yeah.
Yeah. So to play scene. So the shogun says to you, Iwata, you're kind of a bit at the outskirts. You're just here to kind of observe. And the shogun, he's pale and kind of sweaty. You can see him sweating through his bedclothes, even though it's fall, right? It's cool in the room. All the windows are open. You're even feeling a little chilly. You've got your kimono sort of pulled around you. And he's mumbling to you about how he's like, I've been poisoned. I am sure of it. there is a traitor among the courtesans, and he like kind of like is like thrashing a little bit. What do you do?
I'm taken aback. This is real life, and I am not prepared for this. So I'm just sort of frozen in place, watching.
Okay, Hatano, what do you do? Your master is suffering, obviously.
Well, perhaps I don't curse at the man because I guess you have the Maya-sama, but I grow like very upset at all this weakness that he's displaying, and maybe when he like falls out of consciousness, I actually just like punch him in the arm so he comes back and goes back to explaining like or like complaining, and then when he comes back around, I go calm again, and because I don't feel any strong emotions.
Am I there, Adam?
You're
My
not.
face would be gone if you were.
But you have points, right? You currently have 2 Aiki. Would you like to spend one of your points to?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe.
Now,
go ahead.
I was gonna say for Aiki, you have to have someone else use their points to invite you into the scene. So you can ask Caitlin or Iwata, because Iwata, you've earned one already, to introduce you. So Hatano or Iwata, would you like to bring Lotus into the scene, or do you want to keep it just the 2 of you?
I mean, in character, I'm not sure if my character would.
Yeah, I mean, no. We're able to take a bit of a step back. So, like, as a player, do you wanna pull in Mount Lotus?
Caitlin, would you as a person want Jeff to enter into the scene?
Sure, come on over, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Right. So you'll spend one for Lotus. So so Mountain Lotus, you how do you enter the scene? Describe your entry into the Shogun's.
Well, it's good that you asked that, Adam, because do I need to spend some Kaya to interject between the punch, or can I just do that?
You don't have any Ki yet, so no. Hatano just like gives the you witness
It said that I had 5 here, Adam. I believe I do have 5.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you spent yours. Yeah, so you can spend 2 to stop, like, interject. Yeah,
sure. Adam, if the game allows for it, I'll go ahead and do
it. Absolutely does. Yeah, I forgot you went first. So
to describe the scene, then, I think I'm still out in the garden, but I kind of like the background turns into just like streaky light, and I kind of look up and realize that there's about to be something bad that happens, and then I break into what appears to be like a light speed type run. And I'm going to actually somersault, backflip, and forward flip at the same time through a window.
You have to roll for those.
Jesse, no, I spent points. This is free, okay? And then I land. I do a sideways somersault, and my hand catches that of Hatano.
So unfortunately, we as the audience are mere humans, and our eyes can't go that quickly. So what we see is you suddenly appear. All the kung fu acrobatics happen, but we'll have to trust you on that one. So yeah, Hatano, this strange monk is suddenly like there with your fist in his hand.
Why do you stop me? He's weak. He's displaying his weakness in front of us. He shouldn't.
And with that, there's like a single fucking tear that just falls down my face.
Nice. I thought you were strong.
No, hang on, just single tear. But then also I'm like, but I go like, Hatano-san. It is not for us to diagnose the weakness, for we all have the weakness. And then I kind of gently push the hand back towards him and say, but it is for us to help others with said weakness with our own strength.
Okay, so the dub name of this anime is 10 Tears for the Shogun, obviously. But this is the first time that Poet Iwata, you have seen Mountain Lotus. So do you want to go ahead and roll 2d6? Let's see if you're on first blood.
It feels like I want to feel.
So yeah, go ahead and roll 2d6. Yep, the 2 of you can roll to react to each other.
7.
Okay, so Iwata, you got a 6-2. So chaos. You feel that this monk only brings disorder to the castle. That all that comes from the behavior of this monk will be madness and chaos. And then Mountain Lotus, when you look to the poet Iwata, you've got a 4-3. So it's love at first sight. So the two of you lock eyes, and we see this. Remember, we see this from the point of view. This is Hatano's scene. So what does Hatano see the two of you do when you look across the room at each other? What does that look like? Describe how you fall in love with this young poet with a single.
You want me to describe it?
Yeah,
I
I want to see. I want to see what
Oh.
Hitano. Describe it from Hitano's point of view. Remember, Hitano is
I'm not
Hitano is like the stern samurai guardian.
Caitlin,
And-
that's Caitlin.
He's this. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm Hitano.
Yeah, go
Yep.
for it.
I fell in love with someone?
No. Jeff wants you to describe what you see. You
Oh,
describe.
them falling in love with each other?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
no. Just Mountain Lotus falling in love with Iwata, and Iwata feeling a sense of impending chaos as a result of the monk.
Man, I guess it like zooms in like to the poet's eyes and you see like fire and rage. And then it zooms into Mountain Lotus's eyes and you also see fire, but it's a totally different kind of fire, you know? It's like passionate love. And then maybe, I mean, I guess Mountain Lotus from the outside, he might not look too different depending on what state of emotion he's in. So maybe he approaches the poet in the same way he approached me. But as he gets closer, it's much more soft. And then you can take it from there.
Nice.
Adam, when
Well,
you
no,
say love,
Yeah.
what kind of love we talking about? We talking romantic?
I mean, it could be desperate sexual desire, if you want. The literal description the game gives is the moment you met this person, the world finally became bright and colorful.
Okay. And
So, yeah.
I like,
just
as I gently push the hand back to Hitano, my eyes creep up and I see Iwata. And there's that fire. There's absolutely that fire that Caitlin described. And I drop the hand and I like shuffle walk towards Iwata. And I'm again uncomfortably 3 inches away from his face. And I look at him and there's just a momentary pause. And I'm just like, my beliefs forbid me to act on how I feel. But I want you to know that I love you on the deepest of levels. My spirit has already loved you. I have only just now learned of this.
He has the weakness.
Yep.
The weakness is inside of him.
It's both too beautiful and too terrible to comprehend. As a poet, I have witnessed both the ultimate specter of being and at the same time the representation on earth of chaos wrapped in someone who feels passionate love for me. I can do nothing but stand in awed silence, frantically scribbling notes in my book of poems that I must write on this topic later.
Right, it's too beautiful. They should have sent
The sound of quill on paper is, like, for the first time, strangely erotic for Mountain Lotus. It's just
perfect.
He, of course, is complete and utter control of his mind. So the moment his body begins to react, he is able to completely suppress all of it. And then again, from the other eye this time, another single tear falls off because he realizes he is in love with someone that he could never be with.
It's true. So, witnessing all of this, Hitano, the dying shogun, this monk who is obviously unhinged, the poet who can't even write a poem. What is your reaction to all of this? What do you do? Tell us the last thing that we see in the scene.
I look over towards them and I feel a sigh of relief as my fist has been dropped. At last, this man that wanted to drink my blood, as he put it, is distracted by this beautiful young poet.
And
Of course, he's a poet, by the way, right?
Yeah, of course.
Just
wait. Iwata gets more complicated.
I guess I take my pipe and I hold it up to the shogun's lips, and maybe I let him draw some of it before he passes.
Excellent. Okay, so let's generate some ki for you. Can you make a roll? And you're going to be rolling you also have an empathy of 6, so roll 6 dice, and your skill is 3. Excellent. Okay, so you've got 4 ki to begin with for other scenes and for the game. And can you tell us your character's fates?
Okay, so my misfortune is death of the shogun, but that doesn't mean it was me, right?
It just means you're coping with this misfortune. And spoiler warning, the shogun dies.
Yeah, that's I was really confused when you said he was there at the start.
Just wait.
And then my emotion is hatred of weakness, which is why I punched him.
Yep.
And then my destiny is find a way to redeem your failure, which I mean, is that because he died, or is that something I made up?
Yes, it'll become clear to you in the first scene what your failure is. And there are many ways to redeem failure. It might be getting revenge for a bad thing that happens. It might be having someone tell you that you're forgiven. It might also just be being allowed to commit ritual suicide. So you can decide how you want to pursue that as we go.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So let's have a scene with Jinbei. So
or Jim, right?
So Jim Beam. So we see in this scene, we see we're still in the Shogun's bedchamber, but the chamber it's gone from the place where the Shogun, rests and spends his nights to a place that you are all sort of desperately trying to keep him alive. So there are, prayer strips hung from the ceiling to kind of like contain his energy so his spirit doesn't escape. He's lying pallid as a corpse in his bed, but his chest is still moving. He probably has bundles of like herbs around him, and he is attended to by Nijo Castle's resident Shinto priest. So can you describe your character for us, Jesse?
So Jinbei is in all flowing white robes that stretch behind him, and he has a little black hat that he wears.
Excellent. Sweet little biscuit.
While everyone else is... TV loves flowing robes. So while everyone else is old...
It's pronounced Totoru Biscuito, so...
I am the most oldest and most grizzled out of everyone.
Right.
Wow.
I have a long...
I was geriatric, though.
I am...
Super geriatric.
You're like 100. I'm like 300 years old. I have a long flowing beard that has grown since I was a baby. It's white and glorious, and I wrap it around the back of my outfit, like around my neck, and I have a cane, but it's like an old. It's a little charred, and you don't know why. It's just a little charred. Like it's been through some stuff in my life. You don't even know why, because it's that kind of cane. Don't even question it. And I sort of hobble along, gracefully, like I'm floating, but hobbling, but hobble floating.
Hobble float, got it.
Hobble floating.
Perfect.
And yeah, and I just sort of seem a little oblivious to everything, like I'm seeing things that you might not see.
Excellent.
It's like an old dog, basically.
Yes, yeah. Like
so,
cat.
In his last lucid moments, the last thing that Nijo Shogun asked of you was to seal the documents of his will. Right, he's written out his last sort of will and testament, and he has imparted to you a message to carry out to all corners of the shogunate, to summon someone of importance to him. He forbid you from reading the letter, but gave it to you to copy and give to the scribes. And he asked you to call for the poet Iwata to finalize this death haiku. So I think this is the point at which Iwata, you have been called by one of the servants. You arrive with one of the elder servants of the castle, and you haven't interacted. You know of Jinbei, right? Like the shogun speaks of him highly as a wise and reverend man, but you never met him in person. And so, as is our way, Iwata, would you like to roll your 2d6 so we can think of Jinbei?
I actually like the dice decide how it...
5-1. Okay, so this is awesome. So for some reason, in some way, I'll read the description to you of this result, and then I'll tell you what it's called.
No whammies. Big money, big money.
So you hear the music that plays when two souls are intertwined. They are you, and you are they. What is the nature of this sympathy, and what path does their cross destiny take? The Shinto priest, the ancient Shinto priest Jinbei, is in some way, on some deep spiritual level, your soulmate.
Wow.
You know this in this moment upon looking on his reverent form.
This is a very progressive show. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's like an old man sex show.
So unlike the desperate clutchings of that Buddhist monk several weeks ago, you feel upon seeing Jinbei a deep and powerful connection between your souls.
True. But
do you
it's,
react?
It's not quite lust, and it's not a passionate romance. When I see Jinbei, I gaze upon my final form. I assume in Jinbei everything wonderful that is my potential, and I see it in him, in his staff, in his beard. He is everything that I want to become, all the wiseness, and I even question poetry. Maybe it's all in the service of God. Maybe I should fully take up the priesthood. I don't know. I'm really unmoored right now.
So you do notice his staff, is what you're saying, though.
Yeah, immediately.
It's so tall,
Especially the burnt
and
part.
stout.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so you hear the tentative footsteps of the young poet Iwata as they enter the soon-to-be funeral bed of the shogun. And Jinbei, as you turn, you lay eyes on the poet for the first time. Can you roll 2d6 for me? All right, a 1-5. So
The opposite.
for you,
I want to murder.
wow, this is perfect. This is perfect. So I'll read yours for you. So a 10-5 is nostalgia. This person is an old friend, or perhaps reminds you of an old friend, someone once special to you. Memories of your golden age come and go in your mind.
And this young
Get
poet.
out of here.
This young poet is
Young poet.
that's
Get out
so perfect. All right, so what is do we get a flashback? Do we see like a young Jinbei with like someone he once cared deeply for?
Yes. So there's a flashback to that like the mountains that clearly aren't real that like jut up out of the ground and the clouds that look like painted clouds.
Right.
And it's him frolicking in a field, and he is hairless. He is just skin. He's no hair on his head, no hair on his face, no hair on his chest. He has zero hair on his body, and it's him and another young boy, and they're learning about the kami, which are the little deities that inhabit everything around the world, and they're like frolicking with them, with the spirits, and they're having such a good time. And he remembers his youth, about how he learned about the real meaning of life. Beard
Awesome. Excellent.
And if they end up in each other's arms, tripped up in a bed of roses.
Don't look, Mountain Lotus, don't get jealous. Don't get jealous of their pure love.
You'll never have what we had in this moment.
You horny old monk.
Just not understanding.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to want to bone the young poet. You gotta put that shit on
It's
lock.
my struggle.
That's right.
Wasn't his staff really short anyways? It's like super old, bent
And
over.
burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old, used up, burnt staff. It's been around, but everyone knows.
Still a
It's really good at it,
staff.
though.
Yeah, it still works. It just takes some magic.
So what do the two of you say to each other? You have this moment where one of you is gazing into the future and the other gazing into the past, and the gaze between you, what happens? What do you do?
I definitely don't speak first. I'm younger, so.
Nailed it.
I look deeply into your eyes and say, I'm gonna, I need to do an old man voice. One of the greatest virtues is to respect your ancestors. Beard stroke.
This is so creepy.
And then I say,
I think it's sexy.
do not be sluggish in your work. The Shogun calls you forth.
And I say, when entering the village, obey the village. Your word is my command, because I know that you know what is best for me.
Nice.
Sincerity is a witness to truth.
I love it. All right. So Iwata, do you come forth to finally compose the death poem of the Shogun?
Yes, if it pleases you, Jinbei, I have come very far to serve the Shogun in his final words by constructing the death haiku, and if it pleases you, I may present to you a version that is by no means finished and very much open to editing, as your wiseness would see fit.
You sound as though you are trying to do good. And to do good is to be pure.
Awesome. So let's see how your poem is, Poet Iwata. So can you on your character sheet in the green section, bottom right, there's a little D20 next to roll. So if you can click that, this is going to be an empathy roll. So you have 6 dice, and the skill is perform, which you have at 3. So the more successes you get, the better the death poem of the shogun will be.
Okay,
so if you can go ahead and make that roll.
Hit dice 6, submit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll ask you for a skill level.
3 and
3. There you go. Okay, so 2 successes. So one is enough to write a passable poem. 2 is a good poem. It's not the best poem Jinbei has ever heard, but since this is Jinbei's Zero Act, Jinbei, you are handed a poem that is not perfect. How do you respond? You think that it captures perhaps the dignity and the military might of the shogun, but not the real person the shogun is.
May I read you the poem, Priest Jinbei?
Yeah, that is acceptable.
The haiku
Please
for the
clear her
shogun
off.
is as follows. The shogun passes. Crows feast, squabble, and perish. Chrysanthemums grow.
Nice, good. It's all dark and then gets a little flowery at the end. I'm into it.
Is that your old man Jinbei opinion?
Jinbei listens carefully and taps his staff twice on the ground and replies, "Our eyes might see uncleanliness, but let not our minds see uncleanliness. Our ears might hear uncleanliness, but let our minds hear not uncleanliness."
Excellent.
Wise words. Thank you, Priest Jinbei.
I try.
Excellent. So Jinbei, let's have you roll your opening ki. It's an empathy roll with a skill of 3. So you're gonna roll 4 dice, skill of 3 to generate your starting ki pool, and then you can tell us your fates.
So 46 is what you want?
So when you click roll, it'll ask you for the number of dice, and then it'll ask you for the skill. So it's 4 dice, skill 3.
What?
Yeah, it's in the bottom right corner of the green section of your character sheet.
Oh, I see that.
There you go.
All right, so 4 dice, submit. Skill 3.
Yeah.
It's like the future's here.
Okay, great. So you got 3 successes. So you begin the game with 3 ki. And can you tell us your character's fates?
So I have emotion loyalty to the Northern Court, emotion loyalty to the shogunate, and my destiny is to keep the peace until your superiors arrive. So great.
Yes. So when the shogun dies, for reasons which will become clear soon, there's going to be some chaos, and you're going to be balancing your loyalty to the shogun and his family. He has no children you know of, and no surviving brothers or sisters. So you're more loyal to the property of the shogunate, but you're also loyal to the Northern Court, which is the court of Shinto priests that you are a part of. I wanted to, before we move on to, your character has something that the other characters don't have, in that you have a special skill called interface. It's gonna get Tenra weird for a second. So the Shinto priesthood maintains essentially a spiritual cyberspace. You have access to the Meikyo network, which is basically you have like a mirror and a helmet, and you put the helmet on and stare into the mirror, and you can access the Shinto net, I guess. And
What?
And it allows you to.
I'm Professor Xavier.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on, let me put it on. I can see everyone now, all the other mutants.
Yeah, and so you can reach out into the Shinto Meikyo network. It also allows you to hijack control of the giant robots that guard the castle. So you would only ever do so in dire situations, but you can take control. Yeah, you can take control of those robots with the interface.
I need some ramen.
What year is it?
However, you have to be careful, because you have a current karma of 45, and as your karma grows, your soul becomes cloudy, and you will lose access to the Meikyo network. You have to remain pure. that's your
I
challenge.
don't intend to do anything except dispense wisdom.
Fucking right.
So-
All right. Cool. So so the Shogun is dying and has sent word out to call someone to the castle. So for our last Zero act, we see the castle again, and we're deeper into the fall. Right, the maples have turned color. The air is colder now. The sky is gray. And we see approaching the castle. This time, not a traveling monk, but a much younger man of noble countenance. Nijo-sama, can you describe your character to us?
Yes, yes, I can. So, approaching in what would be somewhat traditional, actually, like samurai armor, but more of a hunting sort of lighter. This is something that
So camouflage with the John Deere on the chest, then.
Yeah, exactly. Traveling light.
Okay, all right. And are you accompanied? Do you have servants with you, or are you alone?
I have a individual who chronicles and documents and does cartography and like a scholar, right?
Yeah,
a scribe or a scholar. And he also kind of acts as a servant.
Cool. Does your scholar have a name?
Takeyoshi.
Okay, cool. All right, so accompanied by Scholar Takeyoshi, we see Nijo-sama returning to the castle of his birth. He's been gone a long time, and in fact, I think most people don't know that the Shogun has a son at all. And so you're returning, and you carry with you the paired swords that show you are a noble. You may not wear the mon of House Nijo, or in the past you may not have, but you carry these weapons. And the scarlet steel gemblade that you have, just to continue on the weird Tenra stuff, it's like a gunblade. Like it has a 12-barrel revolving chamber at its hilt. And when you strike with it, it fires a burst of spiritual energy into the people you strike. So it's a significant, impressive-looking weapon. You have a gun sword. When you approach, the first people that you see on entering the castle grounds are Hatano and Mountain Lotus. Now, Lotus, you have been invited to stay in the castle to oversee sort of spiritual things with Jinbei when the Shogun passes, because there's no Buddhist shrine in the castle, so you've been invited to stay. What are Hatano and Mountain Lotus doing or talking about when the prodigal son returns?
I would assume that Mountain Lotus is just telling me all about the poet. I mean, I would hope it's that and not drinking my blood some more.
No, not yet. We're not there yet. Would Mountain Lotus? Yeah, okay. So Mountain Lotus is again back to you, but in the koi pond, just kind of holding one of the fish in his hands, one of the koi, and he's just speaking to the fish, but to you. He's just much like the sleekness of this body of this poor, unfortunate creature. I too cannot grasp the feelings that I have. On the one hand, I want to kill you, and I don't know why, for it is against everything I believe. And in the other hand, I want to smother that poet boy in so many kisses and so many loving caresses that the sky would pour rain for eons. And then he lets the fish go and says, "But alas, I cannot have either." And then two fucking tears come out. One from each eye.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm kneeling, sitting slightly upstream of where he's doing this, and he's probably doing this over and over and over again. It's different koi fish, just picking up a new one and releasing it. And I'm actually just grabbing the one he lets into the water and just making sure it's okay, applying first aid to it. What did the man do to you, fish? And then I'm releasing it and just, I feel unsettled by him. He's just going on about that stuff again. I'm not sure if it's my pipe or what. Fish. This is my life now.
So at this point, the two of you in this spiritually confusing moment, you look up and you see Hitano. It's like seeing a ghost step out of the past. You see like a younger version of your shogun walk, as if from the gates of Yomi itself into the castle. This specter, accompanied by a mewling servant. And I need you and
Oh yeah.
So can you two roll your emotion matrix for each other?
Me?
Yeah, both of you.
4 and a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, all three of you see each other for the first time. So we'll do Hitano and Mountain Lotus, and then we'll get to Nijo.
I think we've got all different numbers by now.
Nijo, can you roll again? I need 2 from you, 1 for each. We'll do
Different.
Mountain Lotus first.
Yep.
All right. So Mountain Lotus, when you see this seeming ghost, I mean, you maybe recognize some of the features. You've seen the Shogun in passing. You're smart enough to recognize that they're related. You get a 4/5. So 4/5 is, let's see here. This person has a sibling-like relationship with you, or could even be your actual sibling. A part of your heart grows warm when they are near. They are like a brother to you. So do you have any actual brothers or sisters?
I think this is it, right? I think this is my younger brother.
Okay, all right. So by some quirk of fate, Mountain. So how do you know this?
Child, obviously.
Is this something that you did you come here to find this out, or are you just like suddenly your soul is realizing in this period of tumult that?
Well, Adam, help me if I'm wrong, but I believe a samurai of this stature would take quite a few lives and would probably partake in alcoholic beverages and that kind of thing, right?
I mean, yeah, maybe like Nijo-sama's archetypes are playboy, aristocrat, and punk. So yeah, probably he's seen some stuff.
Okay, then I'm kind of in this like morose cloud with Hitano standing over me, checking on the fish after I let them go, and this has been going on for a while, like Hitano said. But I can sense, the family spirit basically has entered into my hemisphere, and I kind of again the worrying light kind of turn, and I don't even look fully at him. It's kind of like when a bulldog turns its head to look at you but doesn't look at you. It just wants to direct its ear in your direction. I know that he's there, and I say Nijo-sama, and I spin and run towards him. And I don't hug because that's, of course, not what I believe in. But I stop within a couple of inches of him, look him up and down, and say, Nijo-sama, your armor is in immaculate condition, and you look beautiful as always, both in spirit and in body.
All right. So Nijo-sama, you've got a 2/6. So. Okay, so this is nice and like you can be a little detached for this one. So there's something about this person, a faint tingling in the back of your head when you think about them. What did they do? What is their true motives? What are they responsible for? The name for this one is So how do you respond?
Kind of everyone's reaction to my character so far, so that's good.
So I give a proper greeting and I bow. And I would have probably killed you if you would have tried to hug me, just letting you know there.
We don't do that.
Just saying. And I bow. And, I don't necessarily say anything, but I think back, to sort of my travels. And maybe there's actually a scene very similar to the one that Jeff described with mountains jutting out of these clouds that look like cotton candy. And as it zooms into the top, it happens that you see a younger version of me. There's a monk on the other side of a table, and what looks to be a totally innocent sort of scene, the monk says, "You can do it, boy. I believe in you." And I lift up the glass and I try to drink from the other side, and it spills all over me, and I'm like, damn it.
Kuso.
And I storm off, and like that's just it. So I really have this like, this couldn't be the same guy, but like, why does he give me that feeling? This is the
you will achieve true enlightenment when you learn to drink from the other side of the cup.
I think sensing this hesitance, this reticence, I kind of look at him, and I also turn away, and I just say, "You know that without trials and without challenges, you never would have become samurai."
God damn it.
All right, so while these two are talking, Hatano, you're standing there. You've just checked on this koi, and you look up and you see the two of them talking. What did you get for your roll?
5 and a 2.
5-2. Okay, a 5-2 for Nijo-sama. Perfect. All right, so 5-2 for you. Their every word, their every act teaches you about the world. This person, without question, is your master.
Oh God.
So Nijo-sama, you recognize, like I said, like it was like the ghost of the shogun returning to life and walking through the gates. It's clear and obvious to you that this is like the rightful ruler of the shogunate, and like this is the gods have given him to you to serve, right? That this character might be your redemption
For my fate.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so
What
I
do you-
recognize him as the son.
Something like deeply spiritually resonant. Like you just know that he's the shogun's child.
Okay, I guess I run over to him and maybe I kind of like push Matsumo just over a bit, so that I can get his attention. And I just drop down to my knees and I say, "My lord, whatever you need from me, anything, I'll do it for you."
Excellent. Okay. And in response, Nijo-sama, you have was a 1-3?
Was that a 1-4? 1-3?
Yeah, one. You got a 13, so a 1 and a 3. This is awesome. Okay. All right. So something inside of you is burning. Do you lust for the knowledge they have, to take something they possess and make it yours, or simply desire their physical form?
Oh God.
The name for this emotion is desire.
So, actually, desire, makes a lot of sense. I turn to Scholar Takeyoshi and I like raise, my eyebrow and give like a sort of samurai grunt, which he immediately interprets as, "Is this the man that I came here, to find?" And Takeyoshi kind of like nods. And so suddenly I take the Scarlet Seal gem blade. And I pull the hilt and I like kind of like put it out in front of me and I like slide it out of its sheath, and then all of a sudden I take like 2 steps back and just go into this flurry of sword play, and I'm twirling my gem blade around and the camera's spinning around and the lights reflecting, and it's like an epic dance, and for like 18 minutes this sort of crazy samurai kata takes place, and suddenly I grab the sword.
Well, and it's like there's explosions going on too, right? Because it's like a huge like gun. So every time you finish a motion, it's like boom, like a cannon going off, and like birds fly up from the pond.
I'm still standing. I'm probably close to both of them, by the way, though. And I don't.
Yeah, right.
Like this is an epic, awesome scene, but I'm just like fucking in the way.
When it finally ends, my sword is out in front of them, and I pull my cloth out and wipe the blade and get on my knees in a traditional samurai fashion and basically present the sword. And suddenly the desire is the fact that I know this is the person who is going to claim that I am the rightful heir to the shogunate.
Awesome.
I'm just totally like speechless, and I'm shaking and trembling, and I go to take the sword, but I have no idea what this means. Like I have no idea, and I just take it.
Well, you can. So why don't you make an etiquette roll to see if you can make sense of what this unusual samurai wants you to do. So you have station 2. So station in this game it's a stat. It's how socially important you are. So you're just a yojimbo. You don't have a very high station, but you're not a peasant. You're not just a soldier. You have station 2, and you have an etiquette of 2. So there's not a very high chance you're gonna be able to figure this out. But
Okay, so 2 and 2, 2 dice, 2 input.
Yep, exactly. Hey, you got one. Awesome. Okay. So what is the appropriate thing to do in this situation, Nijo-sama? What to confirm your desire? What do you expect them to do?
Yeah, I mean, like the first, I guess, right to the to the to the shogunate is to be to be the rightful owner of the Scarlet Steel Gemblade. So I expect that this person would inspect to realize, like, yes, this is the shogun's, like, the
Right.
Nijo.
So to like hold on to it until the mourning period is over, and then to ritually present it to Nijo-sama to
Yeah, and as literal proof that I am who I say I am, right?
Right.
My family, seal. And in addition, Takayoshi like hands over, all my other official documents.
So I'm just gonna keep these with me for now.
And I just nod my head until it's time.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm gonna get you to roll your starting ki, Nijo-sama. So your empathy is 6, and you're gonna roll with a difficulty 2. With a skill 2, and we'll see how many successes. Okay, so you start with one ki. And can you tell us your character's fates?
Yes, my fates are: emotion must be the center of attention, loyalty to the domain, and my destiny is become shogun, as is my right.
Excellent. All right, cool. So our last Zero act is for the poet Iwata, in which we reveal some hidden information. So Iwata, your scene begins many years ago. Your Zero act, perhaps seen in a nightmare. We see a village up in the mountains, a pastoral village, maybe a stream running through it. It's winter. And as we get closer to the village, we hear screams of terror. We see smoke billowing up from the burning buildings, and we see a marauding group of samurai bearing the mon of Nijo Shogun. They're riding throughout the village, cutting down peasants. We see a woman with a baby like run from her home, screaming in terror, and is run down by a man with a spear. And she falls, and her lifeless body, protects this baby from being found by these marauding samurai. And as that scene fades, we see a fortress in the mountains. Maybe we don't notice it at first. Maybe it takes some time to zoom in before we realize that there's a building hidden in this fortress, and or a building hidden in the mountains. And we see a room in which a dozen black-clad figures stand, and among them, his mask off, we see the young shinobi Iwata, and you're being given your mission, your mission to prove to your shinobi clan that you are a true ninja assassin, and that you deserve to be a member of the clan. And your goal, and you're handed a bamboo bottle, and your mission is to poison Shogun Nijo and end his line. And you wake from this dream. And we see a woman sitting at the foot of your bed, and maybe you have to blink a few times before you realize, like, she is real. You're not dreaming of this perfect person. And I think you've heard rumors about her. Maybe she's been she's wearing the white kimono of mourning. And there's something about her that immediately sets her apart from every other human being you've ever seen before. She has these thin hairline, what look like lines drawn on her face, but you realize are seams that separate the ceramic plates that cover her wooden form. She is the shogun's kugutsu, his animated servant. Her name is Perfect Chrysanthemum, and she is the most expensive object in the entire shogunate. You could buy an army with the worth that she is. I want you to make a emotion matrix roll when presented with Perfect Chrysanthemum for the first time. So if you can roll 2d6 for me. All right, 1 4. Yeah. So similar to what we saw with Hatano before, you feel that this person has been following you, or perhaps you've been pursuing them. Do you even know the reason why? And I think that, and you can tell me if you think otherwise, but I think that you feel sudden paranoia that like she's been watching you dream, and like somehow those like perfect huge blue eyes have seen right into your nightmares, and she knows that you are ninja, and you're the reason the Shogun died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. How do you react? What do you do?
I mean, I lock eyes with Chrysanthemum, and she's sort of like, she's sitting like on my bed when I was vulnerable, but she didn't attack me. And I still very much get the sense that she knows sort of what's my destiny and what's in my heart, but also that, you know, I'm going to assume a lot about her and assume that she doesn't want to be here either. And that's why I feel like we have this kinship where we both want to like get the hell out of there and make them pay the price. But we also have this little bit of something inside of us that makes us sympathetic to these shogun, the shogunate, and she maybe has sort of, I don't know. I presume that maybe she sort of loves them on some level, but for me, I have found so much beauty in poetry and so much understanding that while I have internalized my mission, I still wrestle with it daily.
Cool. Okay. So I think that, so before we close this thing, so Nijo-sama, you've been in the castle a few days. Funeral preparations are being made for your father, but the question of what will come after that hasn't really come up. And maybe at night you're walking the tatami hall of the castle, and you hear a startled sound from one of the rooms. And when you pull the tatami, like the paper wall aside, you see Perfect Chrysanthemum sitting on the edge of the bed, and you see this figure, this young boy, looking startled by something. Can you two make rolls for each other? Okay, so when you see the poet, you get a 6-2. So let's see, a 6-2 is, all right. So looking upon this startled young poet, flush in the face, moonlight streaming into the room, colors blend, feelings merge. This person produces strong, conflicting feelings in your heart. Will one emotion rise strong out of this chaos of mixed emotions? This is the chaos response. Something like what we saw before with Lotus. You feel a sudden sense of unease, that something important is present in the room, but you don't know what yet. And in that moment, that quiet moment, Poet Iwata, you look up, and man, this is awesome. So this person reminds you of a child you loved once long ago, or else you have the feelings of a caregiver towards this person. It might be in the smallest act they do, the look in their eyes, but you can't ignore the feelings this person stirs inside of you. They are like your child. So perhaps because you feel guilt at killing his father, some other reason, that's how you feel. And both of you like look at each other, and there's that intense moment. What do you do?
I think I'm pretty quick to jump to the question and say, why are you here?
And I mean, are we going to make clear my emotions and destiny and stuff?
At the end we will, yeah.
You just see on my face this immense pity, this like, I am just, I see you as a child, I see you as an old man, I see you at every stage of your life, because I see your life as something that I'm about to feel really, really sorry for. And so, like, in that beautiful poet way, I recognize you as a human being, and I see all the value in you, and I have to just kind of wrestle with that in that moment. We lock eyes.
So if there's like no response, I think sort of in a, I'm about to be the Shogun, I'm like, I asked you, what are you doing here?
I'm so sorry to not identify myself. I am the poet that was summoned by the Shogun to record his final thoughts. I'm so sorry. If I shouldn't be here, I will go. I
think immediately, like, upon
this is good of my bed.
Upon like saying you recorded, you were by my father's bed when he passed.
Yes, he called for me. I was summoned, and I was serving a purpose. He asked me to write final words for him.
Can I see these final words?
I mean, they're final words, but they're not finished. Like they're his final words, but they're meant to be in my words. That is to say,
Fair enough. I understand that a poet's words are important, but understands that a son finds his father's words important as well. I mean, I insist. You must tell me, what did my father speak of before death took him?
Forgive me, I did not recognize you for Prince Nijo. I had no idea, so please forgive me. I'm happy to share with you all iterations of I'm so sorry. Here it is, right here. Yes, I believe what I said is, I mean, the Shogun, he's gonna die, and then there's gonna be this part there's crows, and they're gonna eat and maybe like fight, and then there's probably gonna be a part where they die, and then your house is like the chrysanthemum, so you guys are gonna grow in the. I mean, that's where I was going with it. It's not quite finished.
So the Shogun mentioned nothing about his family.
I mean, it's mostly about the birds and the flowers. Sorry.
So you didn't actually hear the words of my father before he died?
I suppose, sir, I was too busy assuming words that would best fit him to actually listen. I'm so sorry. I did not hear the words.
It's fine. It's fine. I have other things to attend to, and I guess there's like sort of maybe like a little dissatisfaction, like, oh, I thought I was gonna get like, you know, some sort of closing final, you know, and you know, so I kind of turn around and I say, poet, thank you for documenting my father's last words or whatever it was about the flowers.
It brings me great honor, Prince Nijo, to serve your family in this way, and I assure you I will have his last words finalized and to you by the end of the week, by sooner, I promise. And please, sir, consider giving full credit for the assignment.
It's fine. You know, I wish to leave you with something that, well, my father did not tell me, but I once read that he said to his men, and I think it might be important for you to know. He said to his men, in war, it's not about what is right, but about what is left. And I walk out of the room.
Drops the mic.
And I just I stare, I like drop my quill, and I'm just left kind of in that thought, you know, as he exits.
Excellent. All right, so conflicted poet Iwata, can you read us your fates, please?
Yes. My emotion is longing for a family, one that was taken from me.
Mm-hmm.
My misfortune is that I am property of the clan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you belong to your ninja clan.
And my destiny is to kill Nijo-sama.
Bum, bum, bum.
It was her. Him.
So, I mean, we don't know, right? Like, you could, if you want to, because you're a ninja, you're in disguise. If you want to suddenly decide your character is a woman instead of a man, you could reveal that later, right? Be like, I was a chick all along. But yeah, you're buried under layers of secret ninja magic. So,
well, as far as I know, then it's a young man.
Yes, as far as
I know what I'm attracted to.
Exactly. So, cool. All right, so make your ki roll. And then we'll spend all the I-key that you have, and we'll play out probably a couple of scenes to see what happens after the death of the Shogun. So go ahead and roll. You're going to make an empathy roll with a skill of 3.
Is that 6 of them again?
Yeah. I think everybody has empathy 6. 6 or 4.
1 success.
Okay, so you start with 1 ki, but that's fine because you got lots of I-key. So we go into an intermission after the 0 act. So we've introduced all the characters. We haven't introduced all of their emotion matrices yet. So if there's a character you don't have an emotion matrix result with, the first time you see them, just like let us know and we'll roll that. So like Jinbei and Nijo-sama, for example. And during the intermission for the 0 act, you can, if you want to, you can buy an additional fate. So if you look at the sheet, I've given everybody coins to represent their I-key points. So if you'd like to buy a level 2 fate, a new one, You can, but it has to be about another character. So it can be something that your character feels about this other character, something you want to do, something you must never do, something you're struggling with, and this will just be a way for you to tell us kind of what you want as a player about those characters. They should be obviously informed by your emotion matrix. And then whatever IQ you have left, we'll clear, and you'll get one more ki roll for each one that you have in your pool right now. So Hitano, let's start with you. Do you want to, Caitlin? Do you want to write a new fate for Hitano?
A lot of my emotion matrices were really like middle of the line. So if I were to write them as someone else, I feel like it would just be like, be okay with this person.
Exactly.
So I guess I'll just keep the ones I have, which again are misfortune, death of the shogun, emotion, hatred of weakness, destiny, find a way to redeem your failure.
Okay. All right. So what I'll get you to do is roll. You can roll that same roll as before. 6 dice, skill 3. Do that 3 times, and add up all the successes, and then add them to your current ki. Cool. All right. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you begin with 15 ki points, and we'll clear all your IQ. Cool. Okay. And you didn't spend any yet, so your karma does not increase. Mountain Lotus, do you want to write a new fate?
No.
No, you just want to spend your points?
My characters.
Okay, so roll, make 4 of those rolls. You can make it once and then hit up in the chat if you want to just reroll the same thing again. And again, for you, it's your empathy. So 6 dice against 3 skill.
4 successes.
Okay.
Wait, I hit up and it's the same thing. I'll do it, it's fine.
Okay.
And then 4 again.
Okay.
And 6, 3, and then 1.
Okay. And you got one more because you have one more IQ to spend. So this will probably be the pool of ki you have for like the rest of the game because we probably won't get to another intermission. So you've got 8, you've got 10 plus whatever you started with.
5.
And at this point, your spent ki, the 2 that you spent, they become karma. So 4, 8, 10. So you have 13 current. You've spent 2, so your total karma is 57.
Nice.
So by spending ki, your character becomes invested in the world around them, and thus their soul is less likely to reincarnate. And you're still a long way away from being, out of control demon, but you can feel the weight of karma building in you. So Iwata, the poet Iwata, do you want to write a new fate for one?
So that doesn't erase my current fate, right?
Right, you just get to add another one onto the.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a fate for sure. Do we just roll for it?
You don't even have to roll. We get rid of one of your 6 IQ, and you write in a new fate.
Oh, I just write it.
Yeah, just write it in that 4th slot, and it can be whatever you want. Generally, it's like a type of fate. So you would say like emotion. It can be misfortune. It can be whatever. It's not like emotion's usually the easiest one for another character.
Okay, what if I have an ulterior motive where I'm becoming a bit of a nihilist thanks to all my poetry immersion? So I want Mountain Lotus to renounce his vows and break his promises. And so
That's awesome. You're so
Good luck with that.
All right, so so it could be like emotion, like what, seduce Mountain Lotus, or like if you have the way defile Mountain Lotus. Perfect, good, go with that. All right, so you want to defile the Buddhist priest or the Buddhist monk and make sure he goes to hell, basically.
No, there is no hell. There's no purpose to anything.
Okay, well he'll think he's going to hell at least.
Well,
cool. Okay, so make 5 ki rolls. I'll move on to the other characters, but yeah, just make that roll 5 times. Add everything up, and then on your character sheet, top left corner where it says current ki, put that as your total.
And one would make a ki roll, of course, by doing the simple steps of.
Yeah. So you're gonna hit the roll button. It's an empathy roll, so you have 6 dice, and it's based on your highest current fate. So the skill is 3. Yeah, so just do that 5 times and add them all up. And while you're doing that, Jimbei, do you want to write a new fate?
No, my fate is fine.
Okay, excellent. So you're going to keep the fates you have.
Yeah.
So that just means you need to convert that I key into ki. So in the same way, you're going to roll 3 times using 4 dice and a difficulty or a skill of 3.
Okay.
So just go ahead and make sure you do that 3 times. Add all the successes up and put them on your character sheet with your ki. Nijo-sama, last but not least, would you like to write to a new fate?
No, I think I'm okay with mine as well.
Excellent. Okay.
So,
All right. So go ahead and make
4 times.
Yeah, make 4 ki rolls.
And then just 6, and then 2.
Yes. Yeah. Your character starts with 1.
And why is my difficulty 2?
Oh, because of the way your archetypes, there's a complicated answer to that question, but it's just because of the way your character was built.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I do that how many times?
You do it 4 times total.
Where do we put that information on our character sheet?
Very top left corner, where it says ki, current. You change that number to add in what you've already added there. All right.
Great. Oh,
So
I got 10.
Excellent. Okay, so that's your ki, and I'll go over one more time before we go into the first proper scene. The way that what you can spend your ki on is 1 point of ki will add another die to any roll you make. 3 points of ki will raise your skill level by 1 up to 4. You can, after you roll, if you don't have enough successes, you want to get more successes, you can spend 3 points to buy 1. You can spend ki to gain an additional action, so it allows you to do more in a shorter period of time. You can spend 2 to interrupt someone else's turn. You can spend a point to interrupt somebody else being attacked. So if someone gets attacked with a sword, you can say, I spend a point of ki to leap in the way. For entering a scene, it costs 1 point of ki to just say, I arrive in the scene. And then ki is what you would spend to gain experience to boost your stats and stuff, but we won't do that. If you ever need a reminder, in the handout section on Roll20, there's a using ikey/ki little handout you can click on and take a look at it anytime you like. So that'll pop up there. Cool. Okay. So following the Zero Act, the first act that contains multiple characters after they've all been introduced, we know all your destinies, is the funeral of the Shogun. So the Great Hall of the Shogun has been addressed, it's been dressed in white. There are prayer strips hanging. There are there's a big a gong, and there are courtiers and members of the shogun's retinue gathered to pray to the Buddha to grant the shogun a speedy reincarnation into his next life. You're all present in this scene. Where are each of you in the crowd or in the part of this scene? Hatana, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I'm sitting beside Nisho-sama so that I can present him, with his goods when the time comes. I'm kind of the sword is just so long, So I'm kind of going like this in my chair, just kind of pushing my body up maybe, or I don't know how, maybe we're sitting on the ground. So
Huge.
Yeah, it's just so big. So
yeah,
just waiting patiently.
Okay. All right. Is there any sign of emotion on your face? Like your master is dead. Do we see that, or are you impassionate and stern?
I think that you do see a little bit of that. So it's one of my misfortunes. So I must be distraught to some extent, but I'm also really focused on just trying to be ready for Nijo-sama, and to really not mess up the ceremony.
Right. Yeah. Nijo-sama is dead. Long live Nijo-sama. Okay. Has anyone not rolled their emotion matrix for Hatano yet?
Oh, I haven't.
Okay. So we pan over then, and Jinbei, Shinto priest Jinbei, what are you doing? And describe the moment that leads up to you and Hatano locking eyes.
So we're at a Buddhist ceremony?
So there's Shinto and Buddhist practice that happens at the same time, kind of in there's a fusion of those two religions. So there are some elements of Buddhism, but the place is laid out in Shinto style, and probably the body is prepared in a Shinto style as well.
So I am while all this is going on, I am deep in prayer, but also it appears as though I'm talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm preoccupied, but I notice all those around me and my feelings towards them all.
Excellent. Cool. So maybe rather than like you physically looking at Hatano, there's a moment where like everyone else in the scene kind of grows dark or goes like gray shade, and the two of you are the only kind of like colored objects in the scene. So why don't you, Jinbei, roll your emotion matrix, roll 2d6, and we'll see how you feel about the Shogun's bodyguard. 2 and 2. All right.
Should I roll mine as well?
Yeah. Okay, so Jinbei, you feel, you don't know why, but you constantly feel this person's animosity towards you. This person will never forgive you. Perhaps you do know the reason why I want to heal the rift, or perhaps the feeling is mutual. The name of this emotion is they hate you.
They hate you.
Hate us because they ain't us. I get it.
So you sense, waves of loathing just like coming.
He's so much older than me.
This is perfect. This
I
is
was
so
supposed to be
good.
the eldest.
This is so good. So yours, Hatano, yours is 1-6. I'll read yours. This person represents the very destruction of everything you hold dear. Will you be destroyed, or will a new greater world rise from the ashes of the old? The name for this emotion is annihilation.
Oh my god.
That's good. It works.
Yeah, that's great. So the two of you help us understand why there's this. Hatano, why do you want to annihilate the priest? And what's that about?
Well, it's just
Why do you want to annihilate the priest?
it's just the young wanting to eat up the old, It's just the food chain. Like that's probably why lotus flower, sorry, mountain
Lotus.
mountain lotus.
Lotus flower or Chad Mountain or whatever his name is.
He wants to drink my blood because I'm so old and sexy. And
Oh.
yeah, it is. You're older, you're sexier.
Wiser, older, and wiser. Let's not forget. Older, sexier, wiser. Yeah. Honor your elders. I get it.
So I gotta eliminate you.
Yes, and I notice that animosity towards me, but also respect it because I too felt the same way when I was younger, and know it's the circle of life, and know that one day you too shall take my place, but not this day.
So
We shall see.
So who hasn't rolled emotion matrix for Jinbei yet? Nijo-sama, you haven't, right?
Yeah, I don't think I
I
have.
haven't either.
I haven't rolled it with anybody. Let's roll it.
Let's get it on. All right. So we sense the waves of hatred pouring off of the Shogun's bodyguard, and your attention turns to the young man, the spitting image of the now dead Shogun, kneeling at his father's funeral, awaiting what is to come. And the two of you have a moment of communication. Why don't you both roll your emotion matrix for one another?
I got a 65 when we get to me.
So, all right. So, Priest Jinbei, you turning away from the Fountain of Doom, you look to the young man, this brash young noble who's come to Nijo Castle, and by the way this person talks, acts, and expresses themselves, it reminds you of how well you get along with them. This bond will grow deep with time.
Nice.
So you feel goodwill towards the Shogun's.
Just like your father.
Exactly. However.
But how do I feel?
However, Nijo-sama, you can feel it. The chill on the back of your neck. Those looks they give you. This person surely intends to kill you. Do you know the reason? Will caring even save you? They have a thirst for your blood.
Hey!
You feel an intense sense of like threat coming from the priest.
I think that's wrong. I think that's an incorrect description. The thirst for your blood is the blood of nobility, and that you must stain the throne with it by sitting upon it and christening our new shogunate.
Nice, I love it. That's great.
I suddenly realize that is Mountain Lotus was not the old man sitting at the table tricking me to drink out of the other side of the glass, and it was indeed Jinbei.
Right. So Jinbei, maybe you know the circumstances of why the shogun sent his only son away to learn or to like be apart from the shogunate for such a long time. But you knew him as a young boy.
Yes, I was tasked with raising him as a child and teaching him the ways of Shinto and showing him that the nature around us, all the spirits within it, and how to listen to nature. And he was so brash and so mischievous as a child. I figured I could get through to him, but I couldn't. He was so his father sent him away to a far-off land to find himself, and it has forever shamed me because it was the one task I failed at in life. And I've never forgiven myself.
Perfect. All right. So so as I guess we're sort of seeing this as Jinbei like casts his old eyes across the crowd, taking in all these strangers, and you see the monk, the Buddhist monk that the shogun invited to stay in Nijo Castle. Mountain Lotus, what are you doing when the priest looks to you?
It's actually interesting. Hatano is having a tough time sitting there on that seat, and I'm with my back turned to him, kind of just nearby. I'm stroking the prayer strips, and again looking at the prayer strip, but talking to him, saying like, "It's amazing how they're frail, and yet they contain such sacred knowledge and just a wealth of value." And yet I am conflicted because I want to tear it down and destroy it. But I know that I can't.
I want every single scene between the two of you to just be you making a metaphor. It's perfect.
And then I kind of
flicking the player strip back and forth. You can kind of see me like out of focus in the background, just like like kind of sitting behind the throne. I'm mostly observing.
Oh, that's so good. So Priest Jinbei and Mountain Lotus, you can roll. So Mountain Lotus, you rolled yours.
6-5.
Right, 6-5. Okay. So I think that you look away for a moment, maybe in fear or disgust or something from Hatano, and your eyes fall on the old man, who's looking at you, and the two of you lock eyes. And 6-5. And we're going all kinds of weird places. This person looks or feels like someone in your immediate family. Perhaps they even remind you of yourself. Alternatively, this person might actually be related to you by blood. This emotion is blood relative.
Okay. So as I feel that, then I push aside the prayer strip, because this is the first time I've seen Jinbei. And I walk over to him, and I kind of look at him, and I bow, and I look at it, and I say, "Father."
So Jinbei, what did you get? 4-3.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to pair these up in a way that doesn't totally. Well, I'll leave it to you. I trust you, Jesse. So the moment you met this person, you felt like the world finally became bright and colorful. It's love at first sight, and it could be the love of a father and a son. Yes. It doesn't have to.
Yes. This is good, because what happened was, long ago, 200 years ago, because I imagine you're old.
We're old spirits.
200 years ago, long before I served under the shogun, you, my son, were sent out into the world. No, I was training you to be a priest, and you decided that you liked Buddhism more, and so you left me to go travel, and I haven't seen you in 150 years. and you traveled on the backs of dragons and flew with the noble crane, and I have seen nothing but the Shogun's walls. And when I see you, I not only see your adventures and what the light world has given you, I realize I was wrong for trying to keep you here. And when you spread your wings, that's when I realized you, my son, you have given me everything I've always wanted. And I'm so happy to see you again. And I don't let you stand there so close to me and awkwardly. I grab you and embrace you and hold you so like I get even closer because that's in our family. Close talking is awkwardly close in our family. And we have done that for generations. And it is a noble trait. A noble trait. And I embrace you and hold you dear.
As you embrace me, I'm a little bit larger than you, so I actually reach up with my left hand and push back your wispy old white hair, and I lean into your ear as close as I'm talking to you like this, and then I go, Jibe-san, senpai, I have longed for you all this time.
And I, into your ear, say, my son, I have awaited this day for so long. And I rub the back of your head.
It's smooth like a baby's.
Yeah.
And perhaps it reminds you of cradling the young mountain lotus in your arms when he was a child.
Yes, yes. Oh, perfect. Yes.
His perfectly smooth baby-like head still remains, each bump familiar to your old hands.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Good. I'm into it. All right. So does anybody have unfulfilled emotion matrix rolls still? Jinbei, have you been introduced to everyone?
I don't think so. Who else is left? I need to be introduced to
Do you have one with Hitano yet? Yeah, you do. That was we just did that one. And I think everybody's got theirs sorted out now.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're missing one, we can just do it the next time.
I'm not worried about it.
So I think that the two of you, when you embrace, some nearby servants like whisper among each other, like see how even the tiger and the dragon embrace at the death of our shogun. Truly, he was a man of glory and greatness, and they're like whispering among each other and there's a sense in the crowd that this is a moment of sort of true sort of beauty, and at this time there's a functionary, sort of the magistrate of the shogunate. He's sort of the shogun's like lawyer. He shuffles forward and claps his hands to get everyone's attention, and he withdraws a scroll. And holding it in his arms, he looks around, looking for the poet Iwata. Where are you when the magistrate finds you?
I'm actually was standing not too far behind Hitano and Niju, so I just step out.
Cool. Yeah, they totally didn't know you were there. You were like near invisible.
I got some weird leftover skills.
No suspicious reason at all. Yeah, so you emerge from the shadows, and the magistrate says that it is come time to read the last will of the shogun, to announce to his people what will become of the shogunate. As you know, the shogun did not have family. There was no clear heir until this day. But these are words for another time. First, and he turns to Iwata and says, the shogun brought this poet to our kingdom when he realized that the specter of death had come to visit. Poet Iwata, have you prepared the shogun's death haiku?
Yeah, I am so close to done. I'm kind of like jittery and kind of like, I'm very confident ninja, not super confident poet. So I'm like, I can totally, I do. I mean, if you want me to do it now, I was thinking like
the magistrate nods and kind of looks at you like, yeah, of course, now this is the time.
Okay, yeah.
Do you look to anyone in the crowd for like help or like reassurance?
You know what? I'm looking at my work and I'm just really feeling like it's not too strong, and I kind of start and I'm like, formats are no, I'm sorry, many.
Can I use
I'd
a
like,
point?
I'd like to spend a point to interrupt.
Can I use a point? We both need to interrupt.
Jesse and I would like to interrupt. Yeah.
I was going to say no.
So yes, you can spend a ki to interrupt. Now only one of you can do it. So which I know you both had something.
Jesse. I already did it before.
Okay. All right. So Jinbei, just take off one of your ki and add one to your total
In
spend.
fact, it's functional in the game. Like both of us, father and son, we both love to do something, and I noticed my father does, and I very bow down to him and kind of slide away out of frame of the scene.
Excellent.
Japanese play.
So Jinbei, you the spotlight falls on you.
The spotlight falls, but I am missing.
Oh, okay.
And when it appears again, I am behind the poet with my hand on his shoulder.
Okay.
And I say as you stammer and try to come up with your poem, I say to you, the bitterest tears are shed over graves, for words left unsaid and deeds left undone. And give you like a little squeeze.
I think as he says that, I punch a tree, by the way. And I punch a tree out of agony of how beautiful his words were.
So we just smash cut to you outside, just like yeah, the tree shatters. Exactly. The tree shatters, and a cloud of wrens fly out into the sky.
And then I fall to my knees and look at them and just like,
the beauty of the universe is too great.
So as Jinbei gives me a little shoulder squeeze, I have one of those like anime moment realizations where I realize that I am a shitty poet and I have to finally do the job that I was actually hired to do. And at the word grave, I realize that this final form of myself has appeared just at this moment that I need him most to encourage me to finally carry out my job of killing Niju-sama.
Oh damn! Right in the middle of everybody. Okay, all right. So how do you do that? What do you do? There's a moment of realization, and then.
So I say, enough! Poetry is bullshit, and then poof, I throw my ninja star down because I have a whole ninja pack, right?
Oh yeah, you got ninja.
Oh yeah. So I got ninja poetry instruments and ninja tools and a disguise kit. So I go poof. I'm gone, and then I appear next to Jinbei, and I look exactly like Jinbei in my ninja disguise, and I say, "You don't understand whether you're an old man or poof." Next to Hitano, and I'm Hitano, or this conflicted bastard, or poof. Next to Mountain Lotus, or this sexy unleashed motherfucker. Poof.
One tear.
Only one fate awaits us all, and that is death. Poof. And I stand next to Niju, but I am actually as his father. And I'm prepared to fight here, so I have to do like a fighting like.
Yeah. So okay. So you like appear. You appear before Niju-sama in the guise of the shogun. What do you do, Niju-sama, when this happens? This like sudden moment of intense shit. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to.
You don't even have your sword. You gave it to the bodyguard. Oh no.
No. What? No, Hansa said, or Hatano said they had it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hatano has your sword. You don't even have it on you. You just have your wakizashi. You have your short sword.
That's where you're wrong. Everyone has their sword right here.
Yeah, but
it's not out here, Adam. It's in here.
I take a step back and say demon, and I brandish my wazakashi, but then I prompt Hatano for my sword.
Okay.
I think, Adam, it's fair to say, too, true to my character, that at this moment, at this declaration of bloodshed, okay, when that goddamn sexy poet boy is just all up in the grill, and then the other, the guy that I basically believe that I raised up to be in this position, they're about to have a fight, I would go over there and interrupt if I can.
Also, Adam, can I spend 2 ki just to make sure I get my sword before a fight could actually happen? Like guarantee it? And are we using like an interrupt or?
No, so you interrupting would be like if someone says like if she had said like I stab you, you could say I like interrupt to try to block you.
That makes sense.
But it sounds like there's like a bunch of different stuff kind of all like going on at once. So we'll roll to figure out in what order things occur.
I'm staring at you, Nijo-sama. Like my eyes are like they have those circles in them. You know, they're all bright and everything. I'm staring at you like I've been waiting for this moment and I'm ready for this moment. You know, my hand's going for the sword, but my body, I'm also like pushing my body out so that I can go like intercept in between both of you.
So the first person to act is the person with the highest agility score. So what's everybody's agility?
Let me check. Should be like 100.
Mine's 8.
Okay.
Mine's 4.
4.
Okay, 8, 4.
I'm 6.
I'm a 3, which I believe to be the highest.
6, 3. Okay. All right. So Hatano, yes, you were ready to snap into action as the bodyguard of the Shogun. This is your jam. I'm gonna write these. I'm gonna write these down. So Hatano.
But my senses are 6, Adam. So I feel like this was happening even before actions came into play.
Senses help break ties. Unfortunately, nobody's tied with me.
Damn it!
So I'm
My spirit is a 6, Adam. So I believe.
Well, you'll be spirited when you get to watch everybody else take their turn. Nijo, Sama, Jinbei, and lastly Iwata, and then put everybody's in. Okay, so Hatano, yours was 8, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Mountain Lotus, yours is 3.
That's right. Yes. That's right, chat, by the way. Wheat and I are brothers. Jesse is my father, and the Shogun is the father of Wheat. So it all fucking makes sense.
Yeah, am I the Shogun?
No.
Well, are you? Are you?
The implication here is that Jinbei had sex with the Shogun's wife at some point. And that the monk is the half-bastard brother of Nijo-sama.
My staff is fired, oh!
Nijo-sama, your agility was 4, right?
Yeah, sorry, 4. Yeah.
Jinbei, what's yours? Agility, 4?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. So of the two of you, he's an agile little fucker. Of the two of you, who has a higher body? Because body is the first tiebreaker.
Body 4. Mine's 4.
What's your body, Nijo?
Mine is also 4.
Okay. Senses. Who has a higher senses?
5.
7.
Okay. All right. So Jinbei will bump you up to 5. And then Iwata, what's yours?
6.
Here's a 6. Okay. Perfect. So there we go. So Hatano, you get to act first. Now you can move. So you can move anywhere up to agility times 10 meters. So your agility, you can move 80 meters. You know, basically a heartbeat. You can make an attack if you want to. You can try to hide. You can basically do kind of whatever thing your character wants to do, but you do also have a special, and I'd love to see you do it. You have a special ability as a samurai to spend soul points to activate your samurai battle form, which will increase all your stats and make you much more badass if there's going to be a fight.
Okay. Can I do that while doing an action? Do I have to spend Kia points to do that?
So you can, if you want to spend Ki, it'll give you an additional action for 1 point of Ki before you do anything else.
Okay, so I guess I'll do that. So, my eyes were locked on Nijo-sama's, and I was ready. So I start diving in between him and the poet, and I kind of like flip onto my back, and then you can see like the red sword, glimmering under my robes. And so I just rip off my robes, because it's in this like hilt on myself. And I start taking it out, but I'm fully exposed. But I start taking it out so that I can hand it to him while I'm like flying backwards. And then I start enlarging myself. I just get like really big. And it like rips the hilt off of my body. Is it hilt or kilt?
You have the hilt is the like flat part around the top of the sword.
Strap for strapping a sword.
I don't think it has there's a Japanese name for the like belt that you use, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay, well, whatever it is, that just like rips off. It's like my body gets really massive. Yeah, and my muscles just like grow by 20 times.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Do you like shout really loud while that happens, or is it like more like a quiet samurai transformation sequence?
I would say it's more on the quiet side, you know, because I'm kind of just like really numb from my pipe, so I'm still in my own headspace.
Okay. All right. So you transform into your samurai battle form. It will last. It will last for a certain number of rounds. So what's your spirit?
Where's it at?
It's one of your stats. Let me see. Your spirit is 6. Yeah, it's like your green bar. So your spirit, it'll last for 6 rounds. It costs you 5 soul points. And you know how your stats have some of them have two different things, like your body is 7 and 11 or 8 and 11. Yeah. So you're now using the bigger number. So you get all huge and intense and terrifying.
All right.
Okay. And then what do you want to do? Because you bought another action with.
Yeah. Well, I'm just tossing the sword to Nijo-sama.
Okay. All right. So Nijo-sama, you have your gem blade katana back. Iwata Shinobi, what do you want to do?
There's gonna be like a sweet zoom in where I just smirk, and then I'm actually going to use my shadowless replication technique, or is that my ninja duplication technique, where they become now a bunch of me.
Kage bullshit
All
no
around
jutsu.
the samurai.
Yeah, so you have several versions. There, it powers up, right? There's a shadowless replication technique. There's ninja duplication technique, and then there's like a third one. What's the name of the version that you have? The like highest one on the list?
Oh, I think shadowless is Shadow Stitch. That's the
I'll take a
shadowless
look.
is number 4.
Yeah. So shadowless replication technique. So the Mue Bunshin no Jutsu, you have to make a ninjutsu roll. And when you make that roll, you split into a number of duplicates for each success that you get. And people can't tell which one is the real you. And they have a link with you. If they get destroyed, you take 4 points of damage. So let's see if you succeed. So you spend seven soul points. That's up on the top right. You have 12 total. So you spend 7 of those to activate your ninja jutsu. And then make a ninjutsu roll with a difficulty of 3 to create these duplicates.
So I roll just 1 die or 6?
You roll 6. You roll 6 dice because ninjutsu is based on your agility, and you have ninjutsu at 4. So your skill is 4. Let's see how you do.
4 successes.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So you create duplicates. Let's see. How many do you get? Small sounds, first likeness. It's
Can
1.
these act independently, or are they all like?
Yeah. You tell me what they all do.
I get 4 of them.
Oh, I see. Okay, you can create more, but each one costs another 7 points. So
I have 1 other of me right now.
Yeah. So there's 2 of you. If you want to make another one, I don't think you have enough points for it.
No.
Okay, all right. So
Cool.
you pull out a paper doll of yourself, say the magic words, and then split into 2 exact duplicates of yourself. You activate your Nimpo. Cool. Okay. So Jinbei, this obvious ninja assassin who reminds you of something nostalgic, has just split into 2 forms and is obviously ready to attack Nijo-sama. What do you want to do?
So I reached down because in his attack, he dropped his notebook filled with poetry.
Okay. Yeah, of course. He threw it down. Poetry's bullshit.
And I reached down and pick it up and turn to the page and scream for everyone to stop. Like, stop! But in a really actually, you know what I say? I say, stop, and rip my white robes off, and I am flawless. Physically flawless. Specimen.
But still with an old man head.
And still an old man. I'm old man beard, but I'm
like wrinkled old face, but like perfect stacked body.
Yes. I only have a tiny. I have a tiny loincloth, just a tiny loincloth on. It's covering everything, and I hold up the notebook, and I say, poet, do you not see? Two halves of yourself which you have split in two symbolize what you really are, your past and your future. And I hold the notebook up to everyone. I say, you are no ninja. You are a poet. And I read the poem you wrote.
Awesome. Okay.
And the poem is this. Let me think of a poem real quick. The poem is this. In death, peace. Beyond this life, cherry blossom.
Oh my god. It got there. It went there.
It's beautiful.
And I appeal to you. You are not who you think you are. You're not that past. I'm like, you are not what they have made you.
So this is
But
when the
each time
stage.
he's like flapping his robe further back, so more of his body's being exposed. You know.
Yeah, this is when the
cherry blossom
Yeah.
is flying in front of me.
Exactly. I was going to say, so the stagehands on either side have gotten out their big paper fans and are blowing. So your robes, your loincloth, I guess, and your mustache are flapping dramatically. And then above you, with big like wicker baskets, the stagehands are pouring blossoms down so they like blow in the wind as you deliver your line.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well,
if I may, I have my two parts, and the one of me is still standing there. The other has, as he's talking, moved towards Nijo-sama, but is standing there poised to kill. And at cherry blossoms, it fades away. It explodes. It's gone.
Wow.
And I, Iwata, fall to my knees, and I can only weep.
You're no killer. You're no murderer. You're not who they say you are.
so Nijo-sama, the priest Jinbei has created this massive spectacle of his naked body and his skill at poetry, and the ninja assassin has fallen, to his knees in weakness. It is your turn, and nobody's looking at you right now. What do you want to do?
So actually, because I grabbed the sword, and when I unsheath it, I actually have my back turned, right, to sort of that commotion. And in the reflection in my sword, I don't see a face, but what I do see is like one of the most immaculate bodies that I've, ever laid witness to. And so I like kind of turn around like, what the fuck? And when I do, seeing the assassin on the knees, I sort of have a confused look on my face as I, say to Jinbei, like, your age obviously represents your power. And I called to the, why can't I remember this? I called to Hatano and I say, Hatano, seize this seize this poet immediately.
When I grew,
Poet.
when my muscles enlarged by 20 times, because I slipped on my back and papers were flying everywhere, the sword was flying to you, all of my robe just shredded off. There's many naked fine specimens in this room right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of naked men in this room right now. It's
I love the idea.
We knew it was going to get there. We knew it was going to get there eventually.
Yeah, right.
There's a scene happening where everyone is turned away to use their powers. One person's giant and muscular, another person doesn't see the sword, and when they all turn around, there's a half-naked old man and a poet crying.
so good.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know.
Well, all right. So it's Nijo-sama. It's your turn. Do you want to do anything, or do you want to wait?
Were you asking me for the papers?
So yeah, no, Nijo was like sees the poet, right?
Oh,
on your turn.
right. Yeah. Okay. So I guess just like as I grew in weight.
So
like,
Mountain Lotus will get a turn, and then Hatana, you'll get your next turn. So Mountain Lotus, are you still outside with your fist buried in an oak, or are you?
Oh yeah, but like time. There's these fucking birds flying off from where the shattered tree just went off. But as the birds are fluttering off, I'm already turning to this altercation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it ready?
And so you look, and we see through they like wheel in the gate set, so we can see this like frame of this like tableau. All the other actors are frozen in place, and you see the poet, looking vulnerable and beautiful, like a wilting lotus on the surface of a pond. You see the priest, your father.
Yeah.
With like the shreds of his robes hanging from his meaty fists.
Wind blowing in his
blowing in his hair. You see the horrifying mutant samurai holding this sword, and Nijo-sama like pointing at your beloved poet on the ground. What do you do?
So I began a hyper backflip series of flips where I just keep backflipping until I'm like getting closer to the middle of the room. And as I'm flipping, my clothes are shredding off as well, obviously.
Of course, costume change in mid-flip.
Right. Yep. To be clear, I don't have the body of my father, of course. I don't have a giant mutant body. I'm not even a beautiful poet. I'm just like a very well-kept George Clooney Asian guy, just very good looking, but again, and it's been exposed to sun a lot, so no hair on this body, even at my 50-ish age. And when I stop, I'm in a crouch, and I rise up, and I look over the shoulder of who I think the poet is. There's two of them, so I'm just using my spirit sense to just look at this one, be it the mimic or be it the real one. And I see Hatano in mutant form, and a single tear comes out of that eye as I see that, because I know that I want to kill him, but I can't. And I look at the poet and I say, God, if I can do this. I say, have you ever heard the wolf cry in the blue cornfield? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountains? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? And then I can't even get to the last part. Tears streaming down my face. I close my eyes and I bare my throat to him and I say it again. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
So you put yourself at the mercy of this ninja who has taken your heart. And Hatano, you have your moment now. You see these things occurring. Your muscles each twitching individually for attention. What do you do?
I don't know. I didn't expect to get into the situation, and I just got so large. And gravity is so unforgiving. I'm really just like stuck on my back. I'm just totally stuck, trapped. So I guess I'm just like reaching for someone to like help me out. Like anyway.
Oh, you're like a tortoise, just like your muscles too big to even allow you to turn over.
Pretty much.
All right, so you stay paralyzed, and Iwata, what do you do? Lotus has bared his throat to you. The Jinbei has tried to call the poet up from darkness, and the Nijo-sama samurai did not take you prisoner. So you have a moment of freedom. What are you gonna do?
I am going to use this moment. I launch myself to my feet, and tears are streaming down my face. I can't see, and it's sort of one of those ugly cry, like, and I just run into the arms of Mountain Lotus, and I wrap my arms around that exposed neck, and I say, I can paint with the colors, all the colors, you want, oh my God, all the colors, please. And mostly because I know that he is capable of protecting me and I can exploit this love that he feels for me, but also because it's a symbolism for embracing the chaos which I have now created by rejecting Hitano and all the organization and aspirations he stood for.
So when you hurl yourself into the arms of the chaste Mountain Lotus, What I guess, Lotus, what do you feel when that happens? When the sandalwood scent of the poet's skin fills your nose.
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment. This is the ultimate moment of. This is the final conflict for Mountain Lotus. Of course, this is where his inner, like, if we were to not have this battle scene, we would flip inside his head, where there's mecha fucking armored gigantic demon monsters fighting super mutant samurais with gigantic flaming molten swords and demon spirit. This is actually where the fight takes place. Only one is his sexuality and the other is his religious beliefs.
Right. Yeah, of course. It's like when the giant robot is a golden Buddha and the demon is basically just penises. They're fighting. This is the very adult part of the anime where it's just they're fighting and the Buddha is punching the giant penis monster and it's internal conflict.
It looks bad. It looks bad for a moment. It looks like the penis monster is going to win. It's got him by the throat. It's reaching up with its secondary blade because the other one, of course, shattered in the clash earlier.
But it's shaped like a penis.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything's, as I was saying, it's all dong shaped. He's about to just drive it through his head, and that's when the Buddhist monster actually Care Bear beams it and just disintegrates it. It just evaporates it.
Right. It's got his big belly and it shoots the enlightenment beams at the dick monster.
It basically turns it into nothing, which is there's an offshoot of that. So in that moment, we then zoom back into Mountain Lotus, and Mountain Lotus just kind of holds him plutonically and leans into his ear and just finishes with, "You can own the earth and still all you own is earth and still." With all the colors of the wind, and they just rest his head on his shoulder and just holds him tight.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So the scene then, I guess, it resolves. We draw the curtain on that, and what I guess to end the situation. So rather than we're in a short game, normally we would go to another scene, we do some things. We'll kind of do an inverse of the Zero Act, and we'll go through each person, and you can give us an epilogue of your character, and if you want to, you can offer thoughts or you can chip in for other characters' epilogues, because I know all the characters are quite tightly integrated. So let's start with Nijo-sama. Where do we see you in the epilogue? Describe the outro for Nijo-sama.
I mean, I would like to think that you would see him in the Shogun's chamber. Actually, maybe as the door slides open and the camera pushes in, he's writing a letter to someone from someone within the Edo prefecture, whatever, kind of chronicling what has happened and sort of my journey to and what I ran into, and just kind of documenting exactly what just sort of happened to me, almost it being a bit unbelievable. I mean,
so Nijo-sama, when you learn of why, I guess actually this is a question for Iwata. Iwata, does Nijo-sama ever learn about the wrong that his father did to your people? Or is this a sin that dies with his father? Do you, Rachel? Do you tell Nijo-sama about this?
Let's see. I would say that back to embracing my poet's roots is I really have to accept that the truth is not what happened, but in the telling and in the grand story. And so I resolved to, if I may, stay in the castle and tell the truth of the kingdom.
Oh, so you become a fugitive from your own clan.
I seek to further the ideals of the clan through different methods.
Oh, Splinter Ninja Clan, poet ninjas.
I'm gonna say
nice. So Nijo-sama earns himself his own little ninja clan. You start your own little school. The Black Ink School or whatever. Yeah, I'm so into it.
The Dead Ninja Society. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. What becomes of? I think we see. I want to actually see Iwata. What you can further describe? Like we see that, but what do we see with you just like alone, like independent of Nijo?
You see Iwata in the garden, just sort of slowly walking and appreciating the trees and appreciating nature. And he's got his pen in his hand and his scrolls. And every once in a while, he shoots a smile over his shoulder at Mountain Lotus. Just a little like, I know you're not into me, but just a little elbow, a little ankle.
Little something.
Just keeping up the flirt. And he's very happy and at peace with his life in the castle. And he sees daily his mission to sort of be the people's voice within the castle and to affect Nijo by informing him, and beautifully at that.
Nice, cool. All right. So Hatano, bodyguard to the Shogun. What do you? Where do we see you? Where are you? Do you stay in service of the Nijo family? Do you leave? What becomes of you?
Yeah, I like to believe that I'm there standing beside Nijo-sama, rightful heir to the throne. And I have a very fulfilled sense that I've redeemed my failure of not protecting the Shogun. And the weak poet turning out to be a ninja has given me this epiphany that maybe, as Mountain Lotus taught me, we all have weaknesses, but weak can be strength. And then maybe you just see me just, standing beside Nijo-sama one day. And this is a reoccurring thing for me. Standing there doing my duties, and then you see my eyes narrow, and they become two very small slits. And then kind of like from behind Hatano, looking forward, you can see Jinbei walking by. Maybe the robes are like trailing in the wind. Again, the guys with their fans are at bay. And so Hatano is still just stirring, waiting for his chance to get a piece of him.
Oh, wow.
Right, cool. Well, maybe before you were ready to kill off this old man, but then when you saw him tear his clothes off, you're like, whoa, hold on, I gotta plan a little better for that. Cool. All right. So Jinbei, where do we see you? Where does our priest end up?
Well, the scene begins with Hatano entering my chambers and looking to confront me, but I'm not there. And there's two of the maids, or whoever they are, the two housekeepers, rolling up my floor mat to put it away. And Hatano looks panicked, like, what happened to the old man? And they say that he is gone, and that's all you get. And then it pans out the window to a field, and then it starts getting closer, like past trees, to like a graveyard. And as it pans over these graves of all these ancestors who have died before, it gets to one last marker, and just when you think it's about to stop, it moves past it, and on a cliffside, is his robes on the ground. And then it dramatically pans upward into the sky, higher and higher, to reveal a glorious green dragon. For I was a dragon the entire time.
Oh,
Sure. And the dragon is super ripped and has a sweet white mustache.
And I fly away.
Is he wearing your little black hat?
Yep. And he's a little black hat on a giant magical dragon. And that is how my story ends.
Excellent. Well, so last but not least, the first character that we saw, Mountain Lotus. Where do we see you as we close our story?
Well, kind of continuing with the theme of transformation, a lot has changed for Mountain Lotus. It turns out that he may have defeated the penis monster at that moment in time, but as dicks are wont to do, they will creep up on you, and it kind of zooms like the dragon epic final scene, but then it starts dropping from that, and you can kind of hear the rhythm of a discotheque, kind of like a dance club, womp womp womp, and it goes into the building, and it goes to him, and he's wearing kind of like Buddhist monk like attire, only it's all leather and it's skin tight, and it shows his name in the corner, and it's mounting coitus now, and he is
perfect. He
is a raging and happy homosexual man who is fully indulging and living out his life the way he was eventually released from his prison, and he's now.
Yeah, and so I think this is where we get the big like Bollywood ending, where like all the other characters come in, and there's a big dance number as the credits. Wow.
Yeah, because they were all having fun. They're all friends, and so they all came in. Yeah.
there's a big fun dance number with the secret ninja and the mutant samurai and the old man dragon guy and the prince. The whole thing. It's beautiful. Excellent. Well, good job, everybody. Thanks for that. That was fantastic. I haven't laughed that hard since Brumpotungus. So we'll close off as we do with some shout outs. Thank you guys so much for coming. This game, as you can see, is ridiculous and super fun to play. So
how long does a campaign normally last, Adam?
1 to 3 sessions.
See, weeks and ass.
In the book, yeah, the
you
game. You
guys got me all dirty mind and stuff.
Yeah, explicitly 1 to 3 sessions, and we saw some of the character types, but there's like several more like other kinds. There's like cyborgs and giant robot riders and all kinds of other weird stuff. Tenra is a very strange game, and it embraces its Japanese-ness very, very heavily. So if you're interested, check it out. But yeah, let's do some shout outs. So Kaylin, do you wanna go first?
Of course. Oh, I can't tell if it switched over to me. Is it just up? Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a StarCraft player, multiple time GM Zerg and whatnot. But now I'm like only playing Metal Gear Solid because that jumped on me. So if you ever want to watch me play Metal Gear Solid, I'm on the 4th one right now. It's at twitch.tv/Caitlin. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all these lovely people for playing.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. Jesse.
Yo, youtube.com/Jesse Cox. That's a place you can go to see whatever the hell I'm doing over there. So, yeah, and when I'm not doing that, I am ruining other people's streams. So, bye.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jesse. DJ Wheat.
Hi, I'm DJ Wheat. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I want to give a shout out to Roll20 for putting on the Roll20CON. If you've never used Roll20.net, it is something that's been introduced to me over the last few years of my life, and it's certainly created many awesome memories, whether that is playing on a show like role playing or just kind of playing and make my own campaigns within Roll20. It's an awesome tool, awesome resource, and I want to emphasize the looking for groups, because a lot of people always ask us like, oh, I really would love to get into a game like Swan Song or what you guys did. And that's the way you can like find like-minded individuals that would just want to play the same games that you guys do. It's freaking awesome. So thanks for doing this, and it was an honor to be here.
Excellent. Thanks, dude. Jeff?
Yeah, just echoing Marcus' sentiments. It's so amazing what Roll20 has done in making D&D gameplay more accessible and easier to do online. Well, D&D, but that's not fair to say. Tabletop role-playing games, So thank you guys for that. Adam, I want to give a shout out to you. You did an awesome job as always as a DM. It's just so fucking good and fun to play with you. So
thanks, man.
I was worried, actually. I was legitimately worried that I was like, am I going to go accidentally full racist and people are going to be mad at me, or is it going to be funny and silly? We went with funny and silly, so that's good. For me personally, I stream on Twitch as well at In Control TV. It's mostly StarCraft, but lately it's been Total War, kind of a bunch of different stuff. And then also, I want to give a shout out to It'd Be JP as well, who's brought a lot of us together in the tabletop gaming world. So I just think it's so cool that it's branched off over here and we're doing this now. But I'm getting a lot of like vibes about time I've spent with you guys, and it's been on his channel doing his stuff too. So just a shout out to that sexy son of a bitch.
Fuck yeah, JP.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, last,
okay.
certainly not least, Rachel, do you want to do some shout outs for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. I don't do a lot of these, definitely not as many as the rest of you guys do, and you are all very welcoming and very patient with me, which I really appreciate.
Oh, you kick ass.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thanks, dudes. If you guys want to follow me, I saw people in chat like, who the fuck is that? I host a lot of like Twitch gaming streams and esports events, and I stream a lot of Overwatch, so you can find me on Twitch/Seltzer or on Twitter @SeltzerPlease.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I'm Adam Coble. You can find me on Twitter @SkinnyGhost or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Adam Coble. And you can find me running games right here on Thursdays and Fridays as well over on ItMeJ